For all things outdoors, listen to the father of two, the Jesus-loving TV show hosting hairy, true-blood American redneck, Ben Cole.
And listen to the outdoor filming, chef cooking, chocolate milk drinking, John Weissmuller. And we are
Rooted Podcast.
What's going on, great people of the lands? We are Rooted Podcast, back on the mic today. Your boy and John Weissmuller back in the house. We're excited to be here.
How's it going, Ben?
It's going good, brother. Going good. You know, we've had a pretty rough start to turkey season. You know, we killed one bird in Florida. You had a lot of trials in Florida. We did too. And then we went to Bama. Ooh. Brother, I'm telling you right now, I grew up hunting Alabama. My whole life, I've hunted Alabama. Killed a lot of turkeys in Alabama. But this trip, they said, no, sir, you will not pass. Thou shalt not pass on this trip.
Yeah, they tend to do that from time to time.
Yeah, they do. So we get there, and it's the youth hunt, right? So I'm taking a friend of mine who has this Legend energy drinks. They're delicious. You should try some. His grandson took him on the youth hunt out there, and man, this bird was fired up, hammering, just every second on the roost. And I thought, boy, we're about to kill this bird. I mean, it is going down. And man, he was answering to every call. So I thought, you know, these old Bama birds are weary, so maybe I should just stop calling. Probably be a wise idea to do. Well, yeah, he stopped gobbling, and I stopped calling. So we made a move on him because he gobbled again about 500 yards closer to the road from where he was originally on the limb. So I said, guys, we got to go now. Like, we have to move right this second. He is on the road. Or he's going to the road, and he's going to walk down this road and loop around. And man, oh man, he did exactly that. And we called at him, gobbling, spitting, drumming, the whole works. You know, like they always do. They like to put on a show. They like to do all these things. Well, instead of coming to the tee like he was supposed to, in my mind, he wraps around behind us in the thickest, most dense pine tree stand ever. I'm like, sick. That's awesome. You know, this is just, this is great. Right behind us, and, you know, young man looked, and that turkey just noticed that little bit of movement. Out of here. The old famous putt and run. That's what he did. Putted and runned. So, man, it was exhilarating though. I had a great time with that young man. He was old Brex, man. He was a trooper. I mean, we left that bird, went and got on another bird, got on another bird, got on another bird, man. And just none of them would give the young man an opportunity to kill him. So we gave it our best shot, though. I mean, we tried hard. We tried real hard. And they just wasn't having none of it.
Well, you know, it kind of sounds like, you know, the birds were there, just they weren't really willing to play the game.
No, they weren't really willing to play the game. They had so many females with them. That was our biggest issue. They're just loaded with females. So the old hens, you know, they win. Ultimately, a live hen wins every time. Every time. And I'm sure, John, you have experiences on that too that you can share with us about the hen winning.
Oh yeah, I've had many times where, you know, whether it's been on private or public. There was one time on this piece of public land, there was this big, huge green field, dude. Like, I mean, you know, over 1,000 yards long, just big green field. And then at the end of it, or at one end of it, you could turn to the right. There's a little trail and it pops out to this little tiny green field. I say tiny. That just comparatively, it was tiny. And one morning, I'm kind of bopping through here, calling. I don't really hear anything, but I know the turkeys like to hang out in this little field. Dude, I pop in there. This is the most turkeys I've ever seen at one time. There was no lie. One strutter who was just strutting his business all over the place. And no lie, dude, like 30 hens. And I was like, holy cow. Uh, usually when I encounter a gobbler and a hen, it's usually like maybe three, usually more like two, because you only need one hen to really ruin it for you. Trying to beat, 30 of them or so, yeah, not gonna happen. So I rolled in there and I tried to call. I was like, well, I'm already here. I might as well try. There's no way I'm sneaking up on them. That's not gonna happen. And so I gave her the old college try, and they just didn't care. And eventually they just kind of putzed off away. But yeah, man, I've definitely gotten to some calling competitions with some hens.
Yeah.
And I have thought for sure that it was another hunter, because it was just the god awfulest sounding turkey I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, this other hunter's coming up on me. Nope,
Yeah.
it's a hen. It's an old raspy hen that just sounds awful that day. Probably got a sore throat or something from calling so much.
Yeah, got a piece of grain lodged in that goozle.
Oh yeah, it's been a rough a couple days. I'm like, dude, why are you with her? She sounds terrible. You should be with me. But dude, it's a real hen, and I'm not saying that you can't beat them. I've definitely done it, but I've been beat way more than I've beat them.
That is true. One thing that I have to say as far as advice for getting on a bird that is loaded with hens, sometimes take a step back, circle around, like watch where they're going, right? Walk around in front of them, cut them off. That's one way. The second way is, just from my experience, I mean, not everybody has exact experiences, but what I've seen is if you wait till about 10, 11 o'clock, they get away from them hens. And then they go to gobbling again because they want to find a lady, a new lady. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah in the turkey world. They're just out, frolicking in the street.
Yeah, well, the hens go to nest, and then which is a whole nother wild thing, that the wild turkey just leaves its nest like that and then sleeps in a tree while its nest is down there. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, the hens about that mid-morning, early afternoon, most of them go back to nest, and then that's when the gobblers can, kind of pop back off for you. But yeah, man, it can be a tough road. Number one, you're already in the deep south. It's already hard turkey hunting enough. And then you add in hens on that, it's good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, good luck, boys. But, I find
tough
that
hunting.
Sometimes, even earlier in the season, it's harder because they are so hard up on them hens. It can be really difficult earlier in the season. And then you get, on into April, and they've departed from those hens a little bit, the ones that they've already bred, and they're not interested anymore. The hens are not interested anymore. And then, things start changing. They start actually being more responsive to a call. They actually will work and not get hung up in those strut zones. Now, when I say that, that's not every time guaranteed. That is just a lot of the times you can actually get on these birds and have them communicate and gobble and actually do what we want them to do, which is come to us.
Yeah. Yep, that's exactly right. Because, man, turkey hunting's hard enough. And, I mean, a lot of times people just aren't patient enough because, you probably woke up at 3 or 4 in the morning did all this work, got out there, drove to wherever you're going, and then it just doesn't happen. It's like, yeah, well, I know you've already been up for a while, but man, if you could stick around for a couple more hours, you might just fire that bird back up because just because you heard that turkey and now you're not hearing him, it doesn't mean he's not still in that area. It's not like he just totally left the county. I mean, he's still there. Yeah. He's somewhere. So you just got to stick it out sometimes and, just don't give up faith and just keep on keeping on. And eventually, I mean, guys, it is a turkey. It's going to slip up eventually. It does have a pea-sized brain. I mean,
yes,
it still is a turkey. Now, that's not to say that turkeys, can't outsmart you. I've definitely been outsmarted by them. I'm just saying that eventually he's going to slip up. You just got to be there and be ready.
Persistence is the key that pays off dramatically when you actually sit out there. And sometimes, man, I hate deer hunting turkeys. I like to run and gun, get on a hot gobbler. That's what I like to do. But sometimes you got to do what Psalms 46:10 says and be still. You just got to be still. And, let God be God and just wait on a turkey. Sometimes you got to deer hunt them, to get what you're after. I mean, that's just part of hunting. That's a different hunting style that, sometimes you have to change your tactics to be successful.
Well, running and gunning is awesome. It's a thriller of an experience. I love doing it. It's really hard to run and gun when a bird's not talking to you.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you're just hiking with a firearm and hoping a bird gobbles. So you're kind of just doing more harm than good at that point if you're just walking around for no good reason.
Yeah.
I would just kind of sit up where you've seen birds before or you've heard birds in this area, maybe on a trailhead or like where trails cross or a big green field or, something along that line.
Yeah.
Corners of fields too, by the way, I'll go off on this tangent for a second. For those of you who may be new or just don't know, turkeys, I would say 99% of the time pop out of corners of fields. They don't really like to come out in like the center of a field along an edge. They usually like to pop out in corners. So if you can kind of set up looking at a corner, because I wouldn't set up on the corner, that's where the turkey's going to walk. I would set up a little off of it, looking at it, and then kind of be ready for him. But, if you got to quote unquote deer hunt them, that's what I would do.
Yeah, and it all starts with your scout, and knowing a property, right? For example, we had never been on this property in Alabama. No clue. A huge property. Never been there before.
Yep.
And, that shows. Like this Tennessee farm that we got, the old Sinking Creek Ranch. I know pretty well where those birds are. I have a pretty good idea of where they're roosted. And, I spend enough time down there, though. That's the difference, is I spend so much time down there. I see the scratching. I see them strutting in the fields. I see them strutting on the ridges and the mountaintops and all this stuff. I see where those birds are. So I already know going into it, okay, 90% chance that these birds are going to be right here in this general vicinity at some point in the day.
Yeah.
I don't know the time.
Right.
I just know that they're more than likely going to be in this vicinity at some point. Now, with that being said, I also go and listen for gobbles. As soon as that morning sun cracks, I'll just go outside and sit on the tailgate of the truck, right there at the lodge, and just listen. And that's the way we go. As soon as we hear that gobble fire off, we're gone. Like what was that, Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner? Meet, pew! See you later.
See you later, pal.
Yeah. But, that's how I like to do it. But sometimes, man, I've encountered birds that just gobble, 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 and they never come to you. They never want to do what you want them to do. And, last year here in Tennessee, I had this one bird, man. He was tough. He would not come out of that strut zone, man. He was just going back and forth, back and forth. He had like a 50-yard line there that he was just going back and forth. So I thought, well, I'll stand up and walk away from him and call as I'm walking, thinking, and his brain will be like, hey, that hen's walking away. Let's go check her out. Yeah, no, that didn't happen either. So I told my buddy to crawl up there. I said, here, take this fan just for cover and crawl up this road, because it's a huge embankment right there where they made the dozer line through there for the actual road. So the bird was on the back side of that. And for whatever reason, I thought, okay, if he has this fan, it'll be good. To at least cover him a little bit, camouflage him a little bit. Which, in hindsight, he didn't even need it because that dozer line was so big, so it didn't matter. Literally cut a road right in the side of the mountain. So he gets up there, shoots at the bird, whiffy doo-dah, shoots again.
Yep.
Whiffy doo-dah. It happens, man. It absolutely happens.
It's life.
Yep. Yep, it is life. But back to Bama. And I'm going to get back to that right after you say what you're about to say.
Oh, no, I was just saying, you kind of mentioned a fan there, and I know he wasn't reaping them or nothing, but we were talking about getting, birds off of hens. I would do this only on private land. Obviously, I wouldn't do it on public. You're liable to get shot there. Excuse me. But, dude, reaping a turkey with a decoy, I mean, it does work. It does work, and again, if it's legal and safe and all that fun jazz, I'm all about it, man. If you can do it, do it. Yeah. Also, even not reaping, I've seen this work where, like in my example, where you have a bunch of hens with a bird, maybe not 30, but let's say 4 or 5, right? That's still a lot in the turkey woods. I've seen a lot of people kind of run out and put like a hen and like a semi strut jake or something, and I've seen that work. The bird kind of pops to the corner or something, and it's like, hey man, what are you doing in my field? And then he kind of leaves those hens, and you don't need them to leave the hens forever, just enough to get a shot off. So that's all I wanted to say there. Let's get back to your awesome what was it, like week experience or better?
Yeah, week experience in Alabama. So,
yeah, buddy.
Kate and Ryan show up, and we're all jazzed, excited. I heard 4 different birds gobble 2 days in a row. We weren't hunting. The young man was hunting, so there wasn't really much I could do about that. But, we were excited, ready to go, and, man, first morning, crickets, because we were hunting a club, so we were not members, right? So all the members got to sign in first. Well, guess what? We didn't get a good spot because we weren't members. I mean, everywhere was a good spot. It's just not the hot spots. And, rightfully so, because we weren't members. We were simply guests. So we had to go where was left. And that's just part of the game, man. That's how it happens. But so we ended up going to this area that was clear cut, but it had a railroad running through it, and then it had some pretty dense hardwoods around it, and then a little pine thicket and some sprinkled in hardwoods before you get to the train track. Didn't hear a gobble. Not a single gobble. Not one. Silence.
Yikes.
And then, man, we had no tracks, no sign, no nothing. Dude, it was rough. I mean, we walked and we walked and we walked. Nothing. And then we come back later that afternoon, and guess what? There were tracks right where we were standing in college. silent birds, man. Silent birds are hard to kill, dude. They are really hard to kill, and there's nothing you can do about that. So
nope, you just gotta yeah. You're good, Ben.
Oh no, I was just saying, there was just nothing we could do about it. It just was what it was. I mean, there's no way you can
yeah, man.
You can't ever tell what a turkey's gonna do. They are a wild animal, so we tried and tried.
Yep. And that kind of goes back to what we were saying, which was just sometimes you just got to find where you either know that where they've been or you think that they're going to be, and you just kind of got to deal with it. But I will say this, man. You want to talk about testing your will? Because whenever you arrive into camp, and you're with your buddies, vibes are high. Energy's high. Everybody thinks that everybody's going to kill the biggest turkey ever. And then open the morning sets in and you're like, all right, we haven't heard a turkey yet, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We're good. We're just gonna keep going. You get into day 2 and 3 and 4,
5,
and you ain't heard nothing, and you ain't seen nothing.
Yep.
You can start questioning all your abilities real quick. Like, am I good at this? Like, should I be like playing checkers or something? Like, I suck as a turkey hunter.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
Those thoughts start getting in your head, man.
Oh, they do, man. They absolutely do, and it starts to frustrate you. So you can't let them beat you mentally. Sometimes I have a weakness for that. It won't go exactly like I think it should go, and then I get disgruntled because I want to win. I like to win against the turkeys, the deers, the ducks, all that stuff, so I can get a little testy at times. I mean, it just happens. That's just part of being a competitive human.
Yeah.
And I apologize for that. I'm sorry. Yep. That's just who I am. I don't mean anything by it.
Yep.
I'm just I like to beat the birds.
Just want to win.
I just want to win.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been a competitor my whole life, man. I played football, basketball, everything under the sun, and I liked being the best at what I did. And,
I'm the same way.
I took it to heart when I lost a football game or I lost a basketball game, man. I really hated it. I did not like losing. But you know what, though? That's the thing I want to say right now. And I kind of hope it offends somebody. Not really. But you know what I mean. There's too many people out there that ain't losing right now. Like all these kids getting participation trophies. What? Like, what are we teaching them? They're going to get a handout as adults? I don't think so. That's not how this works.
Yeah,
you don't get a trophy just because you showed up. You get a trophy when you're a winner.
No.
And you know what? Winners don't quit. Winners work hard. And you're going to lose. You're not always going to win. That's the thing, is you're not always going to win. Doesn't matter how good you are.
Yeah.
You will not always be.
Sometimes the bird wins.
Yes. Preach it, John. Sometimes.
Yeah, it is okay.
Yeah. Dude, look, me and you combined have hunted turkeys a lot of years, especially Easterns in Alabama. I've hunted them for a lot of years. So, I've killed a bunch of them. You've killed a pile of turkeys. But guess what? We still are on the losing podium more than once a season.
Oh, God, yeah. They win way more than we do.
Yeah, and the thing of it is, man, is we put the time in, on our properties to have the right food sources, the right cover, and everything for these birds, and we do the trapping, we do all that. So we're really helping build these bird numbers, but they're still beating us, and that drives me nuts, John. I just want to win. I want that turkey nugget.
Well, guess what?
What?
Look, we're doing all of it right. Like me, I trap, I get raccoons and possums out of there. I plant, clover and chufa for these birds, all this stuff. And sometimes I think, all I'm doing is creating more birds to whoop my butt. come spring. That's about all I'm doing.
Yes. Yeah, there's no two ways about that, man.
It's like I'm just creating more. Now, obviously, it goes way deeper than that, and I love doing it. But there are some days I'm like, dude, there are too many eyeballs in this field right now for me to do anything.
Yeah, no
like,
doubt,
good.
dude. Well, the thing of it is, John, that wears me out is I only have to win twice in the state of Tennessee. 2 times. That's it. I only have to win twice in the whole entire season. That is all.
Yep.
And I'll be daggum. I'm ready. I'm ready for this weekend, bro. We have clients coming in to Sinking Creek Ranch for a couple days there, and we're gonna try to get them on a bird right out the gate. I've been doing my work, been scouting. A little tip for you guys that have your own private land: if you go in and disc harrow a spot, turkeys like fresh plowed dirt, man. They find little grubs and stuff in there, wormies, little things like that. Just try it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not telling you to go pour out feed or nothing. I'm saying go turn the ground. Turn a food plot. Like, get ready to plant.
And you know what else, man?
What?
Yeah, exactly. If you do that, and then if you add on, even if you go buy a little tiny, like, bale of hay, even just a little tiny square, and just kind of throw that out there, because all the bugs like to cover up underneath that hay, and then the birds in turn go and get it. And, it's not, at least in the state of Tennessee, it's not illegal. And, all you're doing is getting natural food there, and then the turkeys eat that, and it's just something else that you could try. I mean, first things first, you got to get the dirt up, but then just kind of sprinkle some hay on there, and hey, man, them birds are on there, dude. Yeah. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is too, just simply turning the soil is enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, of course, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what it is.
They love it.
The second you turn a food plot, I did it the other day. I was going in to turn my plots to get ready to plant corn, and wouldn't you know it, I got two of them planted before the monsoon hit. So that didn't really pan out for me the way I wanted it to, John. But the others are turned and disc. They're ready to go. We're just waiting on some solid dry weather to get back in there and get all that stuff planted. But I was going around checking the fields the other day, getting ready to put fertilizer out and all that. And in this one field that I just plowed, dude, there were several longbeards all gobbled up in there.
Oh, yeah.
Strutting, gobbling. I was like, ooh, I'll see you Saturday morning.
Yeah, buddy.
Sign me up.
It's
for that.
it, buddy.
I will see you on
It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, now probably watch get in there and whip my butt, but I'm gonna try. We're gonna give them a good hoorah, baby.
Yeah, see, this is my point. Opening day vibes are high right now.
Oh yeah,
vibes are high. Let's see where the vibes are after opening weekend. I'm
just kidding.
I am confident though that we are going to be just fine. I got 3 birds on camera.
Yeah.
And I've been out there, and I know they're out there, and I'm doing something that I love to do. The first 3 days, I'm taking new turkey hunters.
Yes.
My wife's uncle, I'm taking him out opening day. He is first up to bat, and then this year again, poor little Richie, he's up to bat on Sunday morning. And then Monday, this is actually the coolest hunt, I think.
It's all you, baby.
Well, it was going to be. And then my sister-in-law has informed me that she said that she loves kind of our videos and all this stuff and loves watching me do it. She says that she wants to try it. And I said, girl, come on in the blind. I get so much more joy out of getting new people, and these aren't children, right? Like, 50-something-year-old man,
Jeff.
An adult woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, old poor little Jeffrey. He is wanting to come in
Jeffrey,
there and
you better
shoot
give
one.
him a
And
hug.
I'm like, come on, dude. So, but yeah, my brother's wife, Erica's wanting to come out there and get her one. And, obviously my brother Jimmy's going to be in the blind with us, and uh, and you know, even if we strike out all 3 days, just introducing people to the world that I love, that's what means the most to me. Like, yes, do I love shooting turkeys in the face?
Yes.
Of course I do. I want to do that a bunch of times this year. But you know, man, even if I get 0 and I get to watch all 3 of them get one, good for me.
Absolutely, dude. And I was
I'm in.
saying, I
It
don't
doesn't,
know
you
if
know,
you heard me or
that
not, but
that fulfills me just as much as me getting one.
yeah, no, I'm with you there. You know, I don't know if you heard me or not, but I said you need to give poor little Jeff a hug for me. And
Oh yeah, I'll
yeah,
do it.
you got to do that, man. Give him one of those big old robust bear hugs. You know, tell him it's for
Oh
me,
yeah,
and
it's gonna be.
tell him that I told you to do it. So that way he knows who it's coming
Hey,
from.
I'll do it.
Excuse me.
I'll
Whoa.
do it. That's funny.
So back to
Oh
Bama.
yeah, get it out, baby.
You know,
Yeah, let's finish up this whole week story that you've had, because it
yeah.
man, I just remember you telling it to me, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
dude, this is real turkey hunting. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to hear the rest of it.
So, needless to say, we hunted that property and gave it our best shot. Still couldn't get a bird. Couldn't hear any gobbling. Man, it was weird, dude. Just weird. And luckily, over the years, I've made some really good friends in that part of the world. And our dear friends down at Southern Oak Outdoors, they hooked us up, man. They put a post online. Miss Rachel and Cody, they own that. Rachel put a post on Facebook. I was like, hey, anybody want to take these guys hunting? The Rooted Television crew is in town right now. Man, that exploded. I mean, just absolutely exploded, dude. And there were so many people that reached
Nice.
out. So many people. And, you know, there was this one gentleman in particular, Jamie Singleton. He took us over to his mom and dad's place, man, and I know there were birds there. I saw them there myself. I mean, personally, laid eyes on them, and man, it was just dead silent. No gobbles whatsoever. I mean, this is the most beautiful piece of property you could ever turkey hunt. Beautiful, and you know there's birds there. That's the thing, is you know they're there. You know they are. I mean, I physically saw them. And then later in the day, we got and moved to a different spot on the farm, and we went to Colin at you know, this whole different area. And man, they these hens fired up. No gobblers. These hens, man, just fired right up right there. And I thought, we better sit down. Could be no long beer with these old girls. They never came out of the woods. Never. You know, just being turkeys. They just did their thing, you know, kept on moving along. Anyway, we tried to cut them off. That didn't work either. So we gave it our best shot, man. And then, you know, we kept going, and man, we were just trying our best to kill something. So we appreciate everybody that you know, hooked us up on that hunt. It was a lot of fun.
Sure.
We had a blast. And can't leave out my brother Trevor Lucas, man. That dude right there put on the miles on the boots with us. I mean, he took us to his personal leases, man, just to try to get us a bird. I mean, we walked and walked and walked, and they were just dead. They were just completely lockjaw. Silence. You know, Kate ended up shooting a turkey out there with him. It was a beautiful Jake. Did have beard rot, so you know it could have been a longer beard than what we were thinking, because it was rotted off. But man, what a hunt though. We walked and walked and heard some gobbles. We finally hear a gobble. You know, it's just like, holy smokes, man. You know, the problem that I have is is I bring all these dudes all the way down there, right? I am sitting there stressed out because, obviously it's my show, but dude, I don't want to take people away from their families for crap hunts. I don't want to do that. Their job and my job is to produce high quality content, right? And that's what we do. And I start getting in my own head of, man, what the heck, this is another one of those deals where it's not the land, it's not the people, it's the turkeys that are being ridiculous. Yeah. No, they're just being smart.
Nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do about it, man. Yeah. And I sit there and dive into this deep thought process of, man, gosh dang, why did I do this? I should have just stayed in Tennessee. And that's what you were talking about, them turkeys wearing on you psychologically. They'll get after you, Bo.
Oh, yeah, they will.
They will
if you
get
let
after
them,
you.
For sure. And it's easy to let them.
What you talking about? What you talking about, dog? They will get in that head and totally wreck your mood, wreck your spirits. They'll get in there. They will absolutely get in there, man. And, the last group of folks we met were actually Coles. It's kind of odd.
Funny enough.
Have my same last name, and I thought, well, that's pretty wild, to have my same last name and be in Alabama, of all places where I was born and raised. Brett is the young man's name. He's a little 17-year-old dude, man, full of gunpowder and lead.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I remember when I was 17, boy, I thought I was invincible. I did. Until I was shown I was not invincible. I was easily broken.
Yep.
Tender vessels is what we are, buddy. Yeah, we are definitely not invincible I'll take that back. We are invincible when we have Jesus Christ. That is when we become eternal living beings, right there. We live forever in heaven, in this beautiful place. That right there is when we do become invincible. Just saying.
Correct.
Got to know Jesus to be invincible. Otherwise, it's going to be a fiery pit with a bunch of people screaming, gnashing their teeth. Man, I bet it stinks down there.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Dude, I bet hell smells awful.
Guarantee it.
Could you imagine
Hey, listen,
that?
I know a hot day in the South turkey hunt smells awful, so
Dude,
I'm sure it does down there.
Man, whew, I just had the worst thought of how bad that smells, and it's making me sick a little. I might need to back off that. But nonetheless, man, I really appreciate everybody for pouring out so much. I mean, obviously, it was just a special, special time. And Jason Green with Legend, get you some. You want to be legendary? Drink Legend. I just made that up. I don't even think that's the slogan. But anyway, Jason, man, he is an awesome dude. This is awesome property. I think that, we just didn't know the land. And that's one thing that I'm going to suggest to people is go out, even if you're on a new piece of ground, go out, scout, spend the time looking for the birds, spend the time understanding the land, understanding the terrain, and locate the birds. You can go off a lot of sign. You can go off of, the scratch marks, the tracks, let me just be real frank, and I'm sorry if this disturbs anybody, but if you can find turkey crap, you pretty well got them nailed. If you find turkey crap, you can go in and be pretty sure that they're somewhere close by, especially fresh. That is how you know you're in the W zone, the winner's circle. Hopefully, until they decide to be an Eastern. It definitely helps, man. just knowing the land. That's the biggest part. And, you know, that's something that I tried to do, but I couldn't cover enough ground in enough time to really know that property. So it helps when you have buddies that are down there, you know, or wherever you're going.
Or hunt wise.
Yeah. So I did deploy that Wise Eye, by the way. And that data cam, brother, that thing is awesome. So let me tell you real quick at the end of this. It's the only thing that I've ever been able to have work down at Sinking Creek Ranch, and works on top of the mountains. Well, the other day, I was going to replace the camera, and the only one I had was a Wise Eye, and I thought, crap, that's all I got. So I know it's not going to work down here in the bottom, so I'm just going to put it up, let it be a stagnant camera, because it takes beautiful pictures anyway. So put it on there, turn it to setup, a bar appears. I was like, oh, no way.
Uh-oh.
Did that really just happen? Dude, I'm getting pictures right now from down in the bottom. I have never had any cell service on anything down there. So that's a game changer. A total game changer, man. I am so excited. I mean, I literally called those guys right off the rip. I was like, hey, you won't believe what just happened. It's a miracle.
That's awesome.
We got cell service in the bottom. Now I don't have to spend a whole day or two going around checking cameras, pulling cards, driving through everywhere. You know, I can do other things that I need to do, such as planting corn, planting soybeans, planting turnips, refilling mineral stations. After turkey season, we start running protein feed. You know, there's a lot of things that we do and a lot of things that we dive into that, you know, it's never showed, it's never talked about. There's a lot of work that goes into play in doing this kind of stuff, especially on the farming side. The filming side too, you know, a lot of people don't know about the filming side of all this. So, you know, when you're turkey hunting, you, Ryan, Cade, have to walk step for step that I do. You know, it's not like you're just sitting back in a helicopter. Oh, he's on a turkey land now. You know, I mean, we're all walking together, doing them same steps, man. And them cameras get heavy after a while. You know, they get real heavy, real fast. So, you know, man, I just I'm thankful for everybody that helped us out on that hunt. You know, it's just part of the gig. You know, if somebody tells you they kill a turkey every time they go to the woods, they're full of it. It's not always going to be that way. It's hunting.
Nope. But I will also say this, you know, if you're in a new area, I'm telling you right now, download HuntWise, start looking at maps, checking it out. Also, if you're in an area where you may have some private that's kind of connected to all this public, hey, it gives you all the info. You call them up, or, you know, of course, just be old-fashioned about it, right? And kind of do what I do and just go knock on the door. Dress nice, be presentable, be polite. If they say no, tell them thanks for your time and bail out of there. Yeah. But, you know, that's kind of what I would do if you're in a brand new area, you've never been. And if you're, you know, obviously, if you have someone there who knows the land, that's awesome. But if not, go on HuntWise, check it out, map it out, kind of see where some fields or some ridges are, maybe some pinch points where turkeys like to be, maybe some areas where turkeys like to roost, and rock on from there. At least then it gives you a starting point.
Well, you know, I was going to say about the HuntWise app that you brought up, which is a very huge thing that I use all the time. It's while I'm walking and looking. Oh, look at that. There's a turkey track right there. Ping, drop it. Yep. Walk a little further. Oh, I see one over there. Boom, dropped a pin there. And I can even write on there the day and time. You know, so that way, if it's in an area where I don't have cameras, I don't have anything to study these birds by, I can go back and refer to my HuntWise app and say, okay, this day, this time, this bird was there. This day, this time, the birds were over here. You know, and then I can start putting together a pattern. And then when I go back down to wherever I'm hunting, whether it be public land or private land, I have a good idea of where to go and start. You know, the hunt could unfold however it's going to unfold, but that's just a great way to dive into the hunt is by going in, downloading HuntWise, and getting what you need as far as the mapping and all that. Because, man, I'm telling you, that helps a lot. When you have those property lines and the access to call people or email folks or whatever, dude, that's huge.
Game changer.
Game changer, man. I use it. I stand behind it 100%. So, with that being said, man, we did not kill a turkey in Alabama. I don't know if anybody picked up on that or not, but we did not kill a turkey in Alabama. We got bamboozled by the turkeys. That's okay, because there's always another day, and we're going to chase them real hard here in the great state of Tennessee. So, that is all that I have for this episode. I have talked for a while now, and like Forrest Gump says, I want to go home now.
That's it.
Oh, man.
That's
But
great.
guys, look, don't forget to head over to our website, download all these episodes on Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. And on our website, we have a full line of merch: hats, shirts, hoodies, vests, jackets, sweatpants. We have a lot of things going on that are just unbelievable. And guys, look, that's how we get to do this. That's how we are supported in this. But also, if you're feeling generous and want to donate to the Rooted Podcast Fund, there is a way to do that to keep us going on these mics. The link is in the description. So thank you guys so much. I'm out. The redneck has signed off.
See y'all. Make sure you hit the link.
For all things Rooted Podcast and Rooted Television, and I mean hats, shirts, hoodies, and other merch, check out our friends at CH Lone Star Pro and the link that is in our description.